Hey, hello everyone. It's Coach Chris from AccuTrader.net coming at you with what I think is a fairly important video because if it hasn't happened to you yet, if you continue to trade on NinjaTrader, at some point it's going to. And that is you are either in a trade or you have a trade using your ATM, your automatic trading method order on your chart, waiting to get filled, and all of a sudden, either your internet goes out, you get disconnected from the internet for any number of reasons, or your computer crashes. What happens to that order? And so I'm going to talk because there's different scenarios that obviously can happen, and each one could ultimately be handled a little differently. And one of the reasons I'm making this video is I had something happen to me last week, and it was my own fault. I use a trade copier normally when I trade, and I was trading on a fairly new Apex eval account, and I was using that particular account. It was -05 in my accounts. And I was using that account as my what's called the lead account on a trade copier. And I had the account for 2 days, and I was doing pretty good. I had it up over $500 and some dollars. And my trade copier started acting up. And I wasn't sure really what the cause of it was. So I decided, it was a busy day. I had a lot going on. I was trading on my other computer, and I was having a really good day overall. But so I decided, well, as long as I've got this other computer running, I'm just going to, getting these trade copy issues, I didn't want to have them continue through the day because I was copying onto several of my my funded accounts. And I didn't want to get stuck in a trade or have something bad happen. So I decided, well, I'll just shut Ninja down and I'll restart my computer and go from there. So I shut my computer down, exited Ninja. And when I was exiting Ninja, a pop-up popped up, but I didn't read it. I thought it was asking me, because I had a special workspace open. I thought it was just, did you want to save your workspace or whatever? And so I just clicked on yes, and closed everything down. And then I got tied up on something. I was trading on the other computer. I had some family stuff going on, and I just got distracted. And then I didn't log back into that account, for maybe, I don't know, 2 hours, 3 hours. And when I logged back in, I saw account 5 in my control center was down $1,000 and some dollars. And I'm going, oh, geez, what in the world? All of my other accounts were positive where they were when I was done that morning. All were green, so what apparently had happened is I must have still had a open order somewhere. It wasn't trading when I logged off, but it must have been on my chart somewhere, waiting to get filled. And then sometime while I had the system shut down, the order must have filled, and there was no ATM method associated with it, so it just went and ended up losing $1,000 on it. I mean, it was an eval account, so it wasn't that big a deal. It did destroy the eval account, and then it just washed out 2 days of trading. But it was frustrating more than anything. And I guess what was the most frustrating is it was my fault in that case. So that's one scenario that can happen. And as I go and explain some of these other scenarios, that the reason for why that happened will become clear. And now looking back, what I think that error message was that that pop-up that I got when I was closing Ninja, is it was warning me that there was still a trade somewhere on the books. And this can happen if you manually set stop losses and stuff on your trades. Sometimes the order will close, but one of the sides, either the take profit or the stop loss, may still be out there. And what it does is, instead of being a stop out or a take profit, it's just hanging out there as a one-sided trade. It's either going to be a new buy order or a new sell order. And so if price, my dog is acting up, I apologize. If price hits that level, it's going to open a new trade on you. So let's just get into this. And you can see here when you search what happens if you have an open order on NinjaTrader. I mean, there's a lot of results that pop up. And one of the problems, in my opinion, is there is a lot of what I call misinformation out there. And some of the answers are really good, and some of the answers are not so good. And even the NinjaTrader support, they're actually very good at responding to requests, considering how busy they are. It kind of surprises me. But they're often very, very wishy-washy when they respond, especially when it could... It has to do with, okay, for instance, this guy says he's in the middle of the trade. My computer disconnects. What will happen when I reconnect? Will my order be there? And they don't want to say, yes, it'll appear, or no, it won't appear. They send you off to some help or FAQ somewhere to read the disclosures. They don't give them a specific answer like, no, you're shit out of luck and you're going to lose a couple grand, or, what exactly is going to happen. And so I don't like when they give wishy-washy answers. I know they're a financial firm and they have to be careful on what they say can and can't happen in certain scenarios, because there could be laws affecting them as to what they can say. But so I just don't like when traders can't just go to the spot and say, yeah, definitively, this is what's going to happen to you, and in the future, this is how you avoid it. So what I'm talking about now are cases where you're using Rithmic as your interface with your prop trading firm or for your data feed. This doesn't apply to Tradeovate or some of the other platforms that people use. This only applies on Ninja, using NinjaTrader as your order interface, okay? Now, Ninja is a brokerage, actually, but when we use it for a prop firm, we're not using it as a brokerage account. I actually have my personal brokerage account when I trade futures with Ninja, and it's a live cash account. But that's a little different animal. Some of the things apply that I'm going to talk about, but most don't. What I'm talking about is when you're using Ninja as an interface to Rithmic and then to your prop firm. So what Ninja is at that point is they're not really executing the actual order at the sim or simulation level. What you're doing is you're just using Ninja to activate the actual trading instructions. So they are the computer software that handles the trading instructions. Now, Ninja, especially when you're using it in browser form, that only resides on your computer. So if you put an order out there, let's say it's an automated, an ATM order, for instance, to buy at a certain level, and then you have a 10-point take profit and a 10-point stop loss set up on that. What, I gotta just pause this. Sorry about that, everyone. That was actually very rude of me. I had a trade going to my other screen that I had to monitor. But as I was saying, if you put that ATM method out with a 10-point take profit and a 10-point stop loss, that order is only residing on your computer at that time, okay? So then, let's say it enters the trade. It hits your criteria to enter the trade, okay? That stop loss and that take profit order does not get submitted over to Rithmic or what other brokerage you're tied with. Okay? It only is residing on your local computer and your browser. So if something happens, you're in the trade now. If something happens where your computer either crashes or you lose connection to the internet, those instructions to either take profit or the stop loss, they are no longer valid. So you are in a trade and you have no control over it at that point in time. Okay? Now, in the past, Apex had an option, and it's still listed. It's over here on the left-hand side, and it was an option called Flatten Accounts. And I just clicked on this to show you what happens. In the past, when you clicked on that, you would get an option over here of, it would be a warning, if you hit this button, all open orders maybe canceled and blah, 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 all this stuff. Well, of course you want to close those accounts. That's why you hit the button, and it just ended up slowing you down. But now, and I don't normally use this. I go over here now, and it says the flatten button has been temporarily disabled due to technical issues. Now, having said that, this was supposed to be a last resort to use, but even that's not available. And in all of the Apex training materials, they warn you that you're supposed to have Rithmic, our trader, open at all times. In the event this happens, you're supposed to use Rithmic to close the accounts. Well, more often than not, you have Rithmic running on the same account as you have your NinjaTrader account open, most obviously. I typically don't even run our trader, even though I'm supposed to, anymore when I'm trading. It's just another program to slow my computer down. So I normally don't even have it open. But you still, worst case scenario, could open it up quick and then use our trader to flatten the account. That's really your only resort. And there's a really good article. I'll leave it in the description below on how to flatten, reverse, and cancel all open positions on our Trader Pro. And it's actually very easy. And once you've done it once or twice, I mean, it's really very intuitive on how to do it. Like I said, I maybe at some point I'll film a video on how to do this, but I don't see any reason when this article already exists. And like I said, I'll copy that in the description below. But so what you can do, and what I do is I obviously have Rithmic on my other computer. So in the event one of them were to crash, I can just log into my Apex Rithmic on one of those and cancel any orders that's outstanding. That's if you know they're actually open. Because the other scenario that could happen is you have that open and you haven't been triggered into a trade yet. And for some reason, you don't realize that as it crashed or when it crashes, it actually gets you into a position, and it's no longer monitoring it, or the ATM isn't in effect because your computer is disconnected or your internet. So you don't even know to go in here to actually trade it. I don't know if that made any sense or not. But so, I guess if you're fairly new and concerned about it, it may not be a bad idea to have Rithmic running. And what you're going to want to do is familiarize yourself before you get in the situation of going in there and following what they're telling you to do here, because there's a lot of different options in Rithmic. It's actually a very, very complex program. They have all of these icons, but most of us don't, we look at our recent orders and our positions and some of those things, but we don't look at a lot of these other options and how they exactly work. And this one is using an option you don't always use called the order book. And then it's 4 or 5 steps there to to actually close out any open positions. Now, if it's just an internet problem you're experiencing, and you're in an area where maybe the internet isn't the greatest, I highly recommend that you have another source of what I call backup internet. I actually have multiple sources, and they're all provided by my cellular company. I can either use data sharing from my cell phone. I have another way that I can get internet into my machine. So if it's just a matter of internet, or like if you get a lot of storms in your area with lightning and things where the power does go out, you're going to need a backup method, or at some point in time, it's going to cost you money, either real money or your eval accounts or things like that. Because once that trade is on, it's a very sick feeling to know you're in the middle of a trade and it's just running wild out there, especially lately, the way that the market has been bouncing up and down. It's really kind of crazy. So anyway, I kind of got distracted there, but if you see, this is that Apex flatten button. What they're doing now, instead of providing that flatten button, they send you to a article and a video on, do I contact Apex or NinjaTrader if I need to flatten because of technical issues? And then it says here, you must close the trade yourself. Open our Trader Pro positions window and close orders from there. And then they provide an informative video. So obviously you don't want to wait to the point that you're already in the situation to watch this video and read this article. Go ahead and study it, I would say, as soon as you get a few minutes to do it. Because here's the other thing is, if it's a computer issue where your computer is crashed, I know a lot of computers take a long time to boot up. And say it takes you 5 or 10 minutes to boot back up with your system and get NinjaTrader open, your charts open, and everything else. It may be too late, or even to open your browser. The damage probably has already been done, because in the past, normally what I had done is, if you, let's just say it's a computer that crashed, that caused the disconnection. Once you would log back in and open Ninja back up, very often that trade will appear on your screen again, and you can just manage it then through your NinjaTrader platform. But you can't rely on that, and that's one of the questions that was sent to support that they said also is, because the guy asked, well, if I'm in a trade, my computer crashes and I turn it back on, will it appear on my screen? And they, of course, would not give an answer to it, because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. That's the problem. And like I said earlier, the damage may have already been done, where your account has been blown or any number of things. But your take profit order will not be in effect at that time, because once you lose that connection to Ninja, it's no longer sending instructions to the rithmic and to your simulation on your prop firm. Those instructions are cut off, because that only resides locally on your computer. That doesn't reside on the actual servers of that data provider or brokerage firm, whoever you're actually connected to at that point. So I know it's it's actually very hard to explain it. It seems like it would be a simple matter, but a lot of people don't realize it until they're in that particular situation. So, couple of things to take away from this video. One, before you close your control center, make sure there's no what I call resting orders. Those are orders that you had placed earlier that are out there that haven't fired off yet. Because once you log off, those orders could still be out there, but the ATM features will not. Here's the other way it will often happen. It will happen in the scenario that happened to me, but what will also happen a lot of the times is, let's say you trade multiple instruments, like you trade gold, M2K, the MNQ, you're trading a lot of different instruments, and you're either using the same chart and you just change the instrument on that same chart. You're trading all these different instruments, but you're using the same chart, and all you do is change the symbol. Well, what can happen is, like, I believe this is probably what happened to me. I was trading gold, GC, and I was trading MNQ, and I was trading M2K that morning. And I was bouncing around, but I was just using that same chart. And so what was happening on one of the instruments, and I can't remember if it was GC. I think it was GC. The market kind of pulled away, but I was putting a reverse trade on at an order block, but we were some distance away, and I set the order up because I like I said, it was a resting order block, and so I set the trade up. Well, then when I looked over, I noticed NQ was getting really close to a setup. And so I using that same chart, I then went over to NQ. I never canceled that GC order. And I think that's what happened, is that order somehow got triggered, but the ATM never. And then when I went to exit Ninja, it actually warned me that there was an open order out there, but I don't know why. I was just being stupid, and I was in such a hurry. I was just clicking buttons, and I closed it out. I didn't think that's what the warning that they were telling me was, but obviously it was. So then the second takeaway, in my opinion, is go through and read these articles and watch that video from Apex. And here again, I'll put this link to this Optimus article on how to use our trader to cancel your accounts. Very easy, and it can be done. And then the third, if you can't afford it, get a backup alternative internet means of connecting to the internet, whether that's cellular based, a hotspot, whatever it happens to be. I highly recommend you get that in place, because even if you haven't had that situation yet, at some time, and you want to do this, consistently to make money, it guaranteed will happen, or your computer will crash. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. So I recommend you be prepared. So I hope you got something out of this video. I know I got a little distracted and went long-winded, and my dog was barking. So, hey, have a great rest of the holiday weekend, and I will see you tomorrow, possibly later today, with more videos. So take care, everyone, and hope you have a profitable week. Bye now. Coach Chris from AccuTrader signing off.